Hi everyone, how are you? Today I wanted to do a special video to link with something I wrote recently on my blog, which is about anger and frustration with brain injury. Now, I did call it accepting change, and I think that that's part of the reason that I called it that is because when you're going through brain injury, you do get a lot of frustration, which of course externally just looks like anger. And on top of that, your frustration is obviously very tested, which means that when people act angry towards you, instead of saying that you are getting angry all the time, actually you're getting frustrated very easily. So I wanted to touch on this because I think that there's a bit of misunderstanding personally, thinking of my own experience during brain injury, is that automatically people would think, they would lay blame, and people would think, okay, he has an anger issue, so we'll get angry at him, and then we'll also blame him for the anger, and then that will make everything better. That's how it felt. So I think that some people, unfortunately, would get frustrated and angry with whatever issue that you may have coming from brain injury, or just you as a person. Just when you're going through brain injury, you may be experiencing different issues where you say things too quickly, things like that, say things without thinking, and of course that makes people frustrated and therefore angry. And then when they target anger at you, you can't handle it at all. You just have a one thing I tried to describe actually was that I felt like it felt that usually I'd have a dam. So a dam that would stop anger from overflowing, I guess. Now the dam literally, like in Brazil recently, literally collapsed. Now, some people may know that in Brazil over recent months that 300 people died as the result of a dam collapsing and the water gushing out and everything going into chaos. Essentially, that's what I mean. You don't have that dam to stop the reservoir of anger from flooding out. And so that's why your frustration turns into anger very easily. So the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I think that it's important for people to understand that are going through brain injury, that A, it's not your fault, but B, that you can try your best to remain calm. So that means that you may need to walk away from a situation, or you may need to just stay away from a situation, stay away from certain people that triggered that frustrating and therefore angry response. And I think that that's part of what I wrote in my blog, is that's part of the let it go that I wrote at the end. You need to let it go. And that's the hard thing with brain injury, is that every little thing, people yelling at you, screaming at you, abusing you, feels so much more intense, but you have to let it go. I know it's hard, and I know for myself it was very hard during the worst stages to deal with this letting it go. Like, people would obviously say, "Oh, just be happy," silly things people would say, and that would make me more angry because I was just in this horrible, frustrating situation, and no one seemed to understand. So I think that what we need to do during the brain injury recovery process is certainly for outsiders to understand that there is a frustration issue that can develop into anger very quickly. And so therefore do not try and create the environment and the situation as more of a frustrating and therefore angry situation. And then I think also people with a brain injury need to realize from the early stages that this is temporary. It does last for quite a long time, actually. It lasted for me many years of frustration. I'm now almost 5 years after the accident, so that's why I'm all calm and chilled. But certainly the first, I would say, 3 to 4 years were intense. So I would let people know that you need respite, you need to relax. I don't think I yelled and screamed enough about how much I needed relaxation, even though I did. But people just didn't understand. Whatever, I don't understand. I'm going to get angry at you. This is the problem sometimes from outsiders who don't understand or don't feel, not just understanding, but feel the frustrating issues that come with brain injury. So I guess that's my video. I just wanted to lay out the anger and frustration issue, see it from my point of view, how it's not necessarily anger, but it can develop into anger very quickly because you don't have that dam that you usually have, that all of us have, that tries to alleviate or dam up your reservoir of anger. So because you don't have that, when people do frustrating and annoying things that are sometimes self-focused for themselves, then that feels very frustrating, and of course anger subsides and doesn't subside, sorry, it gets worse. So yeah, so that's what I was thinking of talking about today. I'm also writing something else this month on anxiety on my blog, anxiety and brain injury. So I hope it's a very hard article to write about, but I hope that I'll make a video about that as well, and hopefully, spread the words that I'm talking about, and hope that some people with brain injury understand and can relate, and others take on board some of the information that I try to get out there. So thank you so much. Ciao.